Alright. Hi everyone, Soul Super 17 here. Let me get through this like usual. I made the thumbnail, non-pay video. I don't want the pictures. This kind of took me some time because I was trying to decide something. Um, a lot for this. Yeah. I kind of just wanted to make a part two. I got the powers and slash abilities that, basically we know from all the God of War games, basically the weapons too. Powers and weapons, basically, slash abilities. I I didn't really use. I mean, I wrote down quite a bit, but it wasn't as much as I thought. A lot of them were just basically power ups to said weapons, or just items. That was it. I mean, it was just really items. Basically, like the Golden Fleece, a perfect example. I did not give him that, but still, it was that type of item. That was it. So I did not count any of those, but the abilities of basically power up to the Blades of Chaos, and I kind of gave the God of War 3 blades as being its final form, even though in God of War Ragnarok, they're both known as Blades of Chaos. I just thought, little upgrade. They're powerful in a sense in this What If, but it's like when Naruto gets to the next level, he's able to handle the next stage of the Blades of Chaos is because of Athena. So yeah. Anyways, though, let's get into this What If. Oh, by the way, if you guys don't know about technically a spear from God of War Ragnarok, spoiler warning. But here's the thing: it's already out on YouTube, and you can already find videos on it. So in a sense, if no one knows, spoiler warning, because I'm gonna send the name of the spear, and that's only gonna be used for training. Kratos does have another spear, but that's in God of War 2. But I kind of like the God of War Ragnarok spear better, so I may try and find a way for Naruto or Kratos to give it to Naruto. Actually, technically, it's a ring, and basically the spear would come into his hand. So, in a sense, Kratos had the ring. I didn't even know. I didn't even know about it. So yeah. But anyways, though, enough about that. Let's just get into this. This is a What If Naruto gained Kratos weapons slash powers, part 2. Let's get into it now. Okay, so last time we left off, Gato dies. Zabuza gives Naruto his Executioner Blade. Naruto, can wield it, sort of. And, Sasuke gained the Sharingan. Naruto gained Spartan Rage. Well, his version of it. And, well, quite a few things are going to change from here. Just pray for Orochimaru, everyone. I'm joking. But no, seriously, if you really think about it, Orochimaru is not going to be in an okay position. So, oh yeah, I don't want to make Naruto gain too powerful too quickly, but he may. I mean, it's strength, speed, agility from a god. I can't say no more. I mean, a god stronger than a Sanin. I mean, I'm not kidding. So, anyways, though, carrying on. Basically, that all happened. The bridge was done, and basically they were in travel. Now, we are basically going to the night where basically it's one day. Well, technically, we're going to be back in Konoha in a day. Well, actually, half a day. Yeah, most likely half a day. Kakashi wanted everyone to rest since he was pushing them pretty hard on trying to make good timing. So, what happens is simple. Naruto already did his rotation on keeping watch, and Naruto's having a hard time sleeping. So, Kratos basically calls him. He says, "Boy, come into your head." I mean, head/mindscape, which he does not. So, he does. And, well, what he sees is Kratos holding a spear for him. Well, actually, basically, he's like, sir? I mean, not sir, but Kratos? He throws him a spear that was in his left hand. Naruto catches it, he's like, is this a spear? He was like, yes, boy. I'm gonna teach you one of the few things that Spartans taught at a young age. How to wield a spear. Which is like, are you sure about this? Which he does not. He was like, I did say I was going to train you in everything I knew. So, get a defensive stance. Which Naruto tries and Kratos shows him. But then he thinks. He looks back at basically the QB. He goes like, fox. Which, basically the fox opens up the eyes. Well, one of them at least. He's like, yes. He goes, can the shadow clones get muscle memory? Which he does not. He was like, which Kratos does not. He basically looks back and tells Naruto to make 300 clones. Which he's like, you sure? He's like, yes. This would be an easier way to help you gain muscle memory very quickly. And for you to go through the proper stances on your own in the real world. Even here. Which Naruto does not. So, in a sense, throughout that night, Naruto was being instructed by Kratos and his clones. And to be surprising, they realized Kratos is very strict. I mean, they knew he was strict, but I mean, when it comes to this sort of thing, using a weapon, I mean, the Blades of Chaos, basically he taught Naruto on basically a basic, but it was to get him eased into his training, you can say. But technically with a spear now, it's basically a staple for Kratos and, sign of his past, so he's going to take this a little more seriously. And he's going to be like straight with Atreus on this for a bit with Naruto. So in a sense, he does get the stances down. And then he basically tells Naruto, though, to dispel each clone by 10. Every 10 minutes. In which he gets the, memory backlash. And it does take, basically 5 minutes and then an extra 5 minutes just to prepare himself for the next memory backlash. And so, about all the clones later, Kratos tells him to go basically show him how to hold the spear in a defensive stance, and then basically go into how to basically, as Kratos, slowly, after summoning his weapon, he basically slowly, makes him his spear basically move towards Naruto, as Naruto basically gets into blocking it, which Kratos nods. And so this goes on for a bit, slowly at first, then picking up some pace. And then Kratos goes like, you cannot always defend, now attack. With fury and ferocity. With fury and ferocity. And which Naruto does. And Kratos is basically realizing with ninja training and training he's already gained from him, and plus his newly godly speed, his new speed added to him and his strength, this is actually quite surprising to basically Naruto and to Kratos, but Kratos in a good way. Naruto is just pure shock. So in a sense, yeah. After, let's say, 2 hours of this training, and then him even, basically learn how to throw the spear, and then, Naruto just remakes another one, and then, practices again throwing it. Kratos goes, boy, is something the matter? He goes, what do you mean? He goes, well, even though you took to this pretty well, I can already see that you're not understanding why you need to learn how to use a spear. He goes, yeah, I mean, we ninjas use kunais, and not spears, and, well, also ninjados, or basically, which Kratos puts up a hand, which Naruto stops. He goes, I know. The reason why I want you to learn this is because you need to understand. A puny kunai and shuriken will not always be the right tool for the job. A spear, a sword, an arrow. Anything can be a good weapon at the moment besides a kunai and shuriken, and to have a vast knowledge of how to use said weapons could be very useful. Which Naruto basically takes a few minutes and then he goes, do you at least understand that much? Which he does not. He's good. Now then, I do have a few things to tell you. I had to basically go through my own memories. And, well, let's just say I forgot about some of my old powers that I did not realize I had still. Which Naruto was like, wait, what? Was, well, let me just say this. When I became known as the Ghost of Sparta, I gained some abilities through my blades of chaos, which you are holding. They have powers of the gods infused into them. The fire is, well, of its own nature, but also due to the added benefit of Ares flames. And a few others, but that is neither here or there at the moment. All you need to worry about is this. Each level of this power will come, and they could give you devastating attacks. There's even some basically magics I had of lightning, but to my surprise I already saw that all my lightning abilities have been moved into one. So you are quite thankful for that at least. But I will have you slowly learn each weapon too, besides the spear. But you'll not be using them in combat until you gain full mastery of them. With your shadow clones, though, that could be a matter of years or to months. Especially with your training as a ninja. Now we have to count my own powers being given to you by basically strength, speed, stamina, and all that. Which Naruto does not. He was like, is there anything else I need to know? He was like, yes. I'm also going to teach you a history lesson about myself. And what not to do. In which, yeah, Kratos does explain even to Kurama's surprise that he was he told them, they already knew he was a demigod that became a god and also a god slayer. But that's the thing. He shows them through because of their link, basically. He's basically a part of the, mindscape. He shows off his memories to them. And it's basically played through Kratos' childhood and training. A little bit quick playthrough of it. And then all the way up to where he makes the deal with Ares. Now this is where he basically tells him his wrongdoings. What he should have done and what, he should have, basically tried to worked on better that he does not want Naruto. To basically not to charge in head first with numbers, but to actually try to dominate the battle through strategic placements and strategize a way to weaken an enemy, but technically as a Spartan, they didn't really do that much, he will say. Which Naruto just nods slowly. So Naruto says, so the lesson here is to think of a plan first before heading into a battle that you are underprepared for? Which Kratos nods. He goes, good, boy, you are learning quickly. Which he goes, I've been told this plenty of times. Which Kratos nods in understanding. He just says, think of them like your, pranks you would do to unsuspected civilians of the actual, well, village. Alright. He goes, yes, sir. He goes, good. At least I got that small part out of the way. Next scene is, I want to talk more about this Naruto. Which he goes, huh? Your dream. I know it's your ambition, your goal, your whole entire reason. But please think of it like this. What's the point of people ever respecting you, even if you become Hokage? Which he's like, wait, what? Kratos just says with a sorrow, with basically a sad look on his face, he goes, I'm sorry to say this, but people think of you as well, the QB here, as he points to the nine-tailed fox. Then basically Kratos then adds, saying, so what's the point of them even thinking of you as yourself? Which Naruto's like, but if I become the Hokage, they have to respect me, his answer is. Which Kratos just, would slowly nod, but then he goes, but what's the point of them even, making you Hokage if technically no one likes you or respects you, if you can even change that? Which Naruto basically eyes widen. He goes, but if I'm the most powerful ninja, they'll have to make me Hokage. Which Kratos just sighs and be like, Naruto, I only have one assignment for you when we get back. It's to look up information on strategic strategies, how to be a ninja, cooking, hunting, many different things that you do not know of. Alright? Use your shadow clones. Even learn the history of the village and the laws. Because you'll find what truly makes a Hokage. And that you will most likely succeed, but at the same time, if you do not gain any, people's feelings towards you to turn into positivity, they will just be more negative, and it will not end well for you, Naruto. Which Kratos says finally, which Naruto has a broken look, basically, in his eyes, because, but I want people to respect me. Which Kratos does, walk to him and basically go on a knee, puts his hand on his shoulders. He's like, listen, I'm not saying to give up on your dream. I'm just saying to think of the possibilities. Have your expectations low. And always be on guard. Which Naruto's like, what do you mean? He goes, if you have your expectations low, nothing will ever hurt you. Even if it does hurt you slightly, at least you would have already suspected it. And if you're always on guard, that means you can always have understand the situation better and actually be able to plan it if you need an escape route. Which Naruto just nods slowly. He goes, I'm sorry for hurting your dream. But still, it does not matter. If you do not become Hokage, you can become someone, even better. You did say you will become the greatest, Hokage, even better than all the Hokages before you, correct? Which Naruto does not. He goes like, then how about you add just in case on that dream to yourself? Here and now, to me and the QB. Which goes, what's that? The second declaration of what you'll become. If you do not become Hokage, you become the strongest ninja, surpassing all the Hokages before you. And, even me. Which Naruto's eyes wide, he was like, me surpass you? He just nods. He goes, yes. You have very, how should I say, you have very vast potential, Naruto. And I can see it already. With my power, my teachings, plus my weapons, my gear. Well, at least a few of them. I need to look through what I have. Most of the items I have were basically help me in battle and with certain other things. But it's probably just mostly weapons and my powers. But still. With all of that, you become the most strongest person in the world. Not even the gods will be able to stand against you. Which Naruto's like, alright. He basically jumps up, he basically declares what Kratos said, and that he even adds in that he will surpass the QB itself. And become the strongest person in the world. In which that kind of made the QB just basically scoffs, but inside he's like, just kind of smirking. He's like, well, if this kid can do it, then it'll be a lot interesting around here. So, yeah. That's how it was for basically a few minutes of silence. And Kratos goes like, he basically gets up off his knee. He goes like, good. Now then. Let's view more of my past to get you to understand on my whole entire name of Ghost of Sparta. And be warned, Naruto, you already saw with horror what I've done in the past. Which Naruto nods slowly, goes like, and I do regret a lot of it. But my biggest regret will become what you'll see. Before I've had a son named Atreus, I had another family, a wife and a daughter. And this is when my whole entire Godslayer career started, you can say. Which Naruto's like curious, even Kurama. So yeah, so he learned on how he became the Ghost of Sparta, and that his skin basically being, the ashes of his basically child and wife were on his skin, basically, as a reminder and everyone to know. Which Naruto thought that was, well, just so, because he never thought anyone could do that or that could ever happen. So it's very horrifying and very confusing, and it just makes him angry at that. Which Kratos does say, it's constantly a reminder, but I've learned to cope with it, and I accepted it. And I tried to become something I'm not. So, it kind of continues on from there. With everything that Kratos has done, until, let's just say, God of War 1. Because there's basically some stuff happening in between the games. So, in a sense, before God of War 1 happens, there's some other stuff that happens. But yeah. So, after that, though, Kratos says, I think that's enough lessons on my life on what you should look out for, a reason why. This is also another reason you should keep your emotions in check. Which Naruto nods very quickly in that one. So, he goes, how will I be able to do that? He goes, meditate. Focus. Basically, have your mind become, well, even your own weapon. To be always focused at every moment. And become a well-oiled machine, you can say. Which Naruto goes like, I see. So meditation can help me clear my mind and keep my mind focused. And he goes, yes. And there's another way. He basically goes to a wall and just starts punching. He says, there's also another way to focus your, mind. And to help you at least to ignore the pain. When you basically hit your hand against the wall. Which Naruto nods. He goes like, anything else? He goes like, yes. Try to make sure you can regulate your strength. So no one will know about your enhancements that are happening. Which Naruto again nods. Which basically, I think Naruto goes like, should I find anything else about the Blades of Chaos? What I can do with them? If there's any difference between me and you? Which Kratos says, well, come into this world, the transferring my body basically into the blades, and then just coming here could have changed them very significantly than what I knew. So yes, try to figure out what you can do with it, boy. Then Naruto looks at basically the QB. He's like, anything you want to say, QB? Which QB goes like, keep working on chakra control. Basically, try to basically tame your chakra and become more fluent like a stream of water, ready to become a, well, tsunami at any moment. Alright? Which Naruto nods. So yeah, so when he wakes up, you know, they eat. Well, he basically sees Kakashi up. He basically eats with Sasuke, Sakura, basically for breakfast, and then after that, they head out. And, well, let's just say, it didn't take them that long, probably 2 hours to get back. And, surprisingly to them. So, in a sense, when they get back, they have a report. Naruto basically was being looked at by the Konoha civilians, and yeah, I'm not gonna have Naruto be there. I mean, they're just gonna tell basically Hiruzen saying like they can't come off. You're gonna have to rip them off of me if you want me, and if they're gonna try to say anything. But for now, they can't come off. So I mean, if it's about about my weapons, I'm a ninja. So if it's something like that, so I'm just gonna have I'll come up with something. But anyways, so yeah, so the report's happening. Hiruzen keeps looking at Kakashi and taking a few glances at Naruto. Naruto has grown a little bit more, not by much, few, centimeters. But yeah. So after that, his basically Kakashi's report, he said he'll submit a written report about it, and then he'll give it to Hiruzen, which Hiruzen nods, and he just asks everyone to leave besides Naruto, which they do. Anbu were basically sent out, and a basically science bear comes out. He goes, Naruto, those weapons on your back. Which he goes like, oh, these? The Blades of Chaos? He was like, yes. Why do you have them? He was like, well, no one really came for them, GG, so, and I kept on training in the area where I found them, so someone should have came for them, but they never did. And when she goes like, I see. Is there anything else I need to know? He's like, oh yeah, they're attached to my skin, basically. We said, huh? But he does try to unravel the chain off his arm, but it doesn't come off. He's like, yeah, I can't get it off of me. And surprisingly, it's safe for my actual jacket. Well, my basically jumpsuit, and onto my actual arms. Which, Hiruzen is just shocked. He's like, Naruto, we should go to the hospital, try to get them removed. He was like, why? He just sighs, be like, to be honest, Naruto, I'm not gonna lie, I am just very tired. I have not slept since basically last night, you can say. Which he goes, yeah, you actually look like you only had like maybe an hour's sleep. Which he does not. He goes like, I did. I had to do more paperwork. He was like, wait, Gigi? He's like, why don't you use Cage Bunshin? Which Hiruzen looks at him. He's like, huh? What do you mean? He goes like, Cage Bunshin can basically give you back memories, So if you use them, you can have them do the paperwork and you can get some sleep. Which Hiruzen is just looking at Naruto, and immediately he goes to his desk. And when he basically opens up a envelope, it basically says from Jiraiya, Tsunade, Orochimaru, and Minato, and Kushina. Basically, the paper basically says this. When you figure out how to basically defeat paperwork, hit your head here, and it's just a big target on it. And he just says, idiot, 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 I'm an idiot moment for him. Which even Kratos and Kurama have a sweat drop, and Naruto's like, Gigi? He's like, yes, Naruto? He's like, but can you tell me why, though, I should probably worry about the civilians? He was like, well, you see, the civilian council will most likely be the ones to demand you to get rid of it. Well, rid of the weapons. He goes like, which Naruto just blinks. He's like, I don't really know much about politics or about how the ninjas run, but all I know is from one of Ruka's lessons. When a ninja is part of the military, it's the ninja council, not the civilian council. Am I right? As he tilts his head and he look, basically in it, he's just, trying to be like, thinking he's wrong, but he doesn't know, so he's curious. Which Hiruzen's like, uh, he basically just nods with his hand on his, basically over his eyes, and he's thinking to himself, I let the civilian council took too much power away from me. I have to remind them now that I'm the Hokage. Alright. So, he basically was like, you are right, Naruto. So, I will call a meeting, and I will quell their basically concerns. Which Naruto just nods. He was like, do you want to know anything else? He goes like, yes. What's the specific reason why the chains won't come off of you? He's like, oh, simple. I had to take a trial to see if I was worthy of the blades, and I passed. That's another reason why. He says nonchalantly, which Hiruzen goes like, I see. So then he just thinks, so they must be sentient weapons. Only if when they see someone as worthy, they'll... Oh. Oh, those civilians cannot do anything now. He was like, sorry, I thought I was about to hiccup. So Hiruzen goes like, thank you, Naruto. At least that will get their, their ideas to be quelled. He's like, anyways, I'm gonna go train. I have to basically make some shadow clones and send it to the library. By the way, the library is open to ninjas, right? Like, the local library's open to ninjas? He was like, yes, and civilians. Well, you ask. It's like, oh, well, which basically Kratos basically says, he was like, boy, do not hesitate. This may be a problem that you can handle on your own, but do not worry about someone giving you help. You've done enough on your own. It's time to at least come clean a little bit to him. He's like, but Kratos. He goes like, no, Naruto. You need to understand this. You hid your feelings far too long. At least for this moment, I will allow you to at least not hide your emotions. But he's like, he was like, it's a good thing to let your emotions out every once in a while, in a controlled state. Alright? Which he does not. So he was like, alright, Gigi, here's the thing. I've been keeping a lot of things from you. And I think it's about time I told you. But, just to tell you, I didn't want to make it a problem. So, that's the reason why I never told you this. In which Hiruzen looks at him very confusedly, so he tells him about how he went to the library at one point when he was, at least 9 years old, and he was kicked out. He basically even was told, he found out from Mizuki since he was the traitor, and he's the one who basically always trained him in some way or form, and Iruka couldn't, at the time. Basically showed him his taijutsu and such. It started to make sense to Hiruzen and everything. Just by saying Mizuki, he realized he was basically being sabotaged. And yeah, that basically starts to have something creep in his mind. And that he even tells him about being the rotten food that he always got being overcharged. In a sense, Hiruzen asks, are you still being overcharged? He goes, yeah? Why? He's like, thank you, Naruto. Please, go to the library and tell her, whoever's at the library desk, if they give you any problems, I will personally come down there and see them, and if they say I'm lying, you can tell her the phrase that she knows. Which she was like, huh? Oh, when I'm serious with with who I'm thinking that's a library, the elderly woman, which Naruto just nods. He was like, I use a name that when I basically am serious with her. He basically tells her the name, which Naruto was like, okay. thanks, Gigi. So Naruto basically leaves. The privacy, seal was up, and he basically tells Anbu, basically Cat, to get a civilian, Cat, to get a meeting under the way. So yeah, emergency meeting. And Hiruzen's very, very, very mad. So he's holding his killer intent and his, rage, but for some other reason, Danzo and his two other companions that were basically in one of their offices just talking, get some chill down their spine, like something. Danzo says, I think a sleeping tiger, or not tiger, a sleeping lion has just awoken. Which their eyes wide, was like, oh no. Which he goes, yes, Sarutobi Hiruzen, the god Shinobi's back. Which Danzo smiles at the other two, is like, oh no moment. So, yeah, let's just say this. Civilian Council, when they basically demand Naruto get rid of the blades and give it to Uchiha, Hiruzen basically told what Naruto told him, and that he says since they're sentient, he cannot basically give them away to anyone, which they say then basically get for his head, blah blah blah. Kill intent later, they all be quiet, and he said, besides, he's a ninja. My ninja, part of the military force. So you cannot tell him to basically get rid of a weapon. Besides, all ninjas carry weapons on them at all times. So it does not make no sense. And, well, let's just say this, though. He also tells each and every council member that's civilian, basically, that has basically wronged Naruto, still, when he was a ninja, since technically they were civilians, a little bit in civilians, basically, because they would never have given basically the extra money that they basically overcharged Naruto to the Konoha, basically, funds. So, in a sense, yeah, they're gonna get arrested. But a lot of things changed that day, unknown to Naruto. But anyway, though, when Naruto went to the library, the lady told Naruto, even though she saw the Konoha headband, she's like, we don't allow demons here. Which Naruto's like, the Hokage told me I could. He's like, it does not matter. I am basically the one who is in charge here, and it does not matter because you are basically not allowed. Or she goes like, oh, he told me to tell you this. He basically says her name and then adds in the fact that saying that he would come here personally to see you then. In which her eyes widen and she starts shaking. Go ahead. Which he goes like, he just tilts his head, is like, you okay? Which she just nods fast. Which she's thinking, why does he worry about me? He was like, alright then, miss. Thanks. He's like, basically when he walks away, he's like, okay, I know basically she has sudden change, but to basically change to fear all of a sudden, what the heck is with her? And how does Gigi get her to be so scared of him? Get her to be so, scared of him. Which Kratos says, years of experience, my boy. Years of experience. Which he even hears then the QB actually says agreed. So yeah, basically though, before he makes the cross hand signs, he basically goes back, where she basically sees him, and he goes like, can I use a jutsu here? Which she was like, huh? What type of jutsu? He basically just says, Cage Bunchin. Which her eyes widen, and she was like, what? How do you know that? He goes like, oh, too much chakra, which Kurama just told him to say this, so I couldn't do a normal Bunchin. I accidentally did a Cage Bunchin. She's like completely shocked, and she was like, how many? He was like, oh, just enough to read all the civilian books. And a little bit of the actual get-in library part. In which she just calculates how many. She basically doesn't want to, but she's actually want to see how many he can make. She was like, okay, make about, just basically, she was like, can you make around like 200? She's like, is that how much the library can fit that? Which she goes like, well, it can fit more, but 200 is just to be safe. Which he does not. So he basically does make 200 clones. Well, technically he goes outside and then he makes 200 clones. That basically they just coming in, and basically they just start doing their thing. Naruto basically says, "Thanks," and basically he goes and does Rin too. In a sense, she's kind of shocked and saying, I hate him, but maybe I shouldn't judge that much. Besides, she basically kind of thinks, because she has a grandson who was in the academy, and she knows that the academy teacher have actually held a chakra training, so she hated him, but she didn't know what happened. So this got her thinking, was he sabotaged and not paid attention to? Is that why he basically became a delinquent? Or at least a prankster? Besides our treatment towards him. Huh. I should be more professional at my job. But still, the civilian councils paid me extra money when I don't allow him here. But if Haruz and Saratobi found out about my mistreatment of him, and that he was allowed here to begin with, I don't want to get myself executed. So yeah. After that, Naruto basically kind of made clones. Basically, after a good 50 clones read about 2 to 3 books, they basically dispel, like, let's say 10 at a time. And it's like every 10-minute interval. So in a sense, he gets like half of the day done by just reading. And he basically goes back, he's like, excuse me, ma'am? She's like, yes. He goes, why was a certain style of fighting, taijutsu fighting, in the civilian part of the library instead of the ninja part? She was like, what do you mean? He basically just says basically the names of the book. She was like, oh, those are basically for civilians to protect themselves at night. He was like, so Kung Fu, Taijutsu, Taekwondo, basically. Where she just nods. She basically says it's basically an ancient way of fighting, but it gets the job done. Basically after she says that, he was like, I see. Thanks, though, for telling me that. Anyways, have a nice day. He just leaves the library. And basically she decides to go look at, basically to see the books are there. And every book was put back in place and basically back to its category and alphabetical order, basically. Yeah, Kratos told him to do it. No excuses. Which he just nodded to that. Like, it wasn't just him himself, basically the clones who basically were done reading the books put them back. Which he goes like, I thought he would leave it a mess. Huh. Well, that's good. She just nods her head and just goes back to her work. So, after that, Naruto goes to the training ground, and he does have shadow clones work on his, basically, tree climbing. His basically then, well, I want to say, they basically don't have the paper, they read about seals, and he read up to at least beginners. It's their intermediate, so, yeah. So he was interested in seal, but him and the clones actually start going through the katas of each, basically what he read from the books of, the karate, taijutsu, well, not taijutsu, taijutsu and taekwondo, basically. I'm bad at remembering names so much. Well, no, it was jujutsu. Yeah, jujutsu, not taijutsu. But basically, he's basically going through them, and then when Kratos basically, said about his fighting style, which is basically just throwing punches and, to basically do maximum damage, it doesn't really matter. He kind of incorporates that with certain movesets from the books. And the books that each clone is basically trying out, Naruto's basically punching a tree and practicing. So yeah, they're doing muscle memory training. Naruto's also doing it too, while the clones are basically doing tree walking. I do think after a couple of after an hour or two, the another good set of clones basically go over to try to do water walking, and well, it doesn't go well, but they keep trying, including like a few, like say 20 clones that were doing tree walking, go over to the water and try doing it too, to the point where it basically by the end of the time of the training, they're at least able to stand on the water and keep their balance without basically losing concentration for at least 20 minutes. Which Naruto just kind of grins at that. He's like, anything else I need to basically try to work on, Kratos? He was like, yes. We're gonna go hunting. He goes, hunting? He goes, yes. Now, listen to me, boy. We need to, well, you're not ready for basically what I need you to grab, which is a bow and arrow. But your mission pay, as you know, should be coming in soon. As in all of a sudden, Anbu right on time because of just plot reasons. He basically says, Naruto Uzumaki, report to the Hokage Tower to get your mission pay. Which is like, oh, thank you, Anbu-san. Which they just, shunting away. He was like, I have to learn that. Which Kratos says, in time. Which, yeah. So, Naruto basically goes and, get his mission pay. He does ask basically Hiruzen about any weapon shop, which is just Higarashi's weapon shop. Tenten's, I guess, adopted father or just, father or whatever role model basically she goes to for weapons, and I think, yeah, I really think she lives there, so in a sense, she gets a discount. So, yeah. Basically, when Hiruzen does show him, he basically realized, though, wait, was this really for a rank jutsu? I mean, a rank, not jutsu, a rank, mission? Naruto got 3 times the amount of Sakura and Sasuke. Even Kakashi was kind of surprised. What happens was very simple. The people, the civilians that were the shop owners who basically overcharged Naruto, which they kept in books, which were idiots, to be honest, about it. Hiruzen saw how much money they basically charged him. And let's just say this, any D-rank missions he's gonna get a little bit bigger cash. Yeah, yeah. And a submit to the Fire Daimyo has been sent, so that way the Fire Daimyo will know what's happening in the village. Hiruzen is basically taking back his power from the civilian council, including Danzo, which kind of got the ninja council shocked, but very happy. So yeah. So when he basically gets to the Higurashi shop, he immediately, goes to the basically to see at the counter if someone's there, which Higurashi is. He asks basically to have basically any bow and arrows. And basically, since it's a ninja shop, he's like, you got any training weights? He's like, huh? Really? He's like, yeah. Or anything to help me basically with my training to get faster and stronger. In which she goes, I mean, I do have a couple of scrolls on some seals, but that's higher level. You don't know them, do you? He was like, I'd only read intermediate into beginner. It's like, oh, I do have some old-fashioned weights. And they do have some seals on them that allows them to basically increase the weight basically density and heaviness. But that's only in one specific area. Which Naruto was like, oh. So, in a sense, Hiruzen basically goes like, well, you got any seals, Higurashi-san, for basically to put on in clothing. which basically Higurashi looks at Hiruzen and goes like, "Oh, do you mean basically to make them as weights?" He goes, "Yes, with a few resistance seals on them." He's like, "Oh yeah, I can do that." Oh, hold up. So basically Hiruzen looks at Naruto with a smile and goes like, "But Gigi, is that even possible?" He goes like, "Yes, anything's possible. But you are gonna have to stop wearing your jumpsuit," which he thought Naruto was gonna interject, which though he goes, "I You're right, I have to. I mean, this is a kill me where kill me, you know, sign, so I got no choice in the matter, huh?" Which Hiruzen nods, but inside it says like Naruto actually green and not arguing about saying orange is the best color. Which Kratos says, "Good boy, you're learning." He goes, "Yes, I know, Kratos." So yeah. So what Higurashi basically comes out with, he comes out with a bow. It's just a normal looking bow with some seals on it, basically to keep it, stronger and to keep it preserved, along with the arrows, basically to not break and to keep the metal also preserved. Now the outfit Naruto's gonna wear is a black long sleeve shirt. You can say, I'm just joking. Now it's gonna be just a blue long sleeve shirt with then basically black pants. And technically speaking, he even put he even put like boots in to make them even a little bit more heavier. Like basically has to put chakra in it. And well, he basically just gives Naruto that. Which he's like, well, why the boots? He was like, well, it just will work better, and besides, it'll help you to gain more, strength for your legs. If it's just not basically the pants. He was like, oh, thanks. He was like, no problem. Anything else you want? He was like, well, he basically look around and he basically just sees a jacket. For some reason, it basically has like the Kratos's like mark, basically you can say, like the tattoo, the red tattoo on him. Basically on it, it looks like because it goes around the shoulder, down the side, basically going down, then like say loop around into the back, which then goes into like a whirlpool swirl. Which Naruto was like, "How much for this?" He goes like, let's see. So just basically such and such amount of Ryu, which Naruto's still gonna have plenty just to pay for. So he also though gets ninja wire, basically some more storage scrolls, and an extra kunai pouch. Well, an extra pouch, and holders for basically kunais for his legs. Which he was like, okay, this is gonna be like, let's say 3,265 Ryu, which Naruto pays. He basically thanks for the business. So Naruto basically asks if he can go change real quick, in which he says, go ahead. So yeah, Naruto goes change, which Hiruzen goes like, how are you doing, Higurashi? He was like, pretty good. Surprised the kid's here. He was like, I brought him here. He asked for a bow, and I thought it would be good for him to actually take his ninja career a little bit more seriously. Which, basically, he kind of snickers like, no offense to kill me wearing me orange. Two bright colors, which he nods. Basically, Naruto goes like, how do I look? Basically, and when they see him, they can tell it's a lot more professional, which Naruto basically is kind of like, waiting in anticipation, which Naruto says, you look good, Naruto. Very good. He goes, thanks, Gigi. But he does say, anyways, can you tell me how this the seals on the clothing work? Which goes, alright, simplify it. Basically, you see what should I say? Basically the seal pattern, pattern on your on your shirt, which Naruto basically takes off the jacket and he sees it. He was like, yeah, flow chakra into that. And the whole entire seal will actually go through the whole entire clothing. I was like, wait, equal in the boots? He goes, yes. It's basically the resistance and gravity seal. Which Naruto's like, this was a set, wasn't it? He goes, yep. He kind of just grins. He just sighs. So he was like, alright. So he puts some chakra in it, and it's only at, 2 times gravity. Which Naruto's like, oh my, what the heck? He goes, yeah, it's going to be pretty hard for you at first, kid. Be warned on this. He goes like, alright. Which Kratos does tell him to stop making chakra flow into it, which Naruto stops. Well, he only needed a little bit. He basically takes the chakra out of it, which is like, I don't need it for training right now. I have to do some stuff real quick. Try to practice with the bow. Which basically Hiruzen got like, why? He was like, hunting. No offense. I think I really can't trust any, vendors that sell produce. And I can't always eat ramen. I have to have a good diet. So, which Hiruzen basically smiles, but he's gonna tell Naruto later. Which then Naruto was like, oh, yeah. Gigi, you never basically were surprised about the other weapon I got. It's like, oh, yes, Zabuza sword. Which basically, not Hagoromo, but Higurashi is like, huh? What do you mean? He was like, oh, the Executioner Blade, Hiruzen just says, which Higurashi immediately looks at Naruto and is like, you have it? He goes, yeah, Kakashi-sensei gave it to me. Well, I mean, the scroll to put it in. As I say, he kind of, takes out the scroll, puts chakra through the seal, it poofs, Naruto grabs it, and he basically puts it on his shoulder. Which, that kind of even shocks Higurashi and Hiruzen a bit. So, yeah, he's like, pretty simple. He just starts blinking, he's like, but then he puts it back into the scroll, rolls it up, he's like, so, I'm gonna go, thanks Gigi. Higurashi-san, he bows, he was like, I'm gonna come here from now on. He goes, alright then, good luck Naruto. So basically he leaves, Naruto basically leaves the store, which, he was like, you didn't tell me he had that blade. He's like, I forgot. He was like, I could have made a sheep at least, or given something a little bit more better than those clothing. He's like, why? He was like, those are beginner type clothing. They only go to at least resistance 10 and gravity 10. He's like, oh, yeah, he's gonna have to come by, later, or at least you're gonna have to tell him. He's like, I will. He's like, good. So yeah, Naruto, he learns basically archery from Kratos. It did not go well at first, but a couple of basically clones helping him. 2 clones helping him at least. Kratos only allowed 2 clones, and he worked alongside him. After basically an hour of them, he basically improved a little bit more, but he practiced more with his arrows and himself. And now he does practice with the Blades of Chaos. He basically sees what he can do with them. He basically starts, attacking with them, slashing side to side, and, basically making the chains elongate, and then, spin them around along with himself, and then start, swing them side to side, and then cross way, so he's like, okay, that seems to be normal, they go on fire a bit. So basically, he's just holding them now by the grip, as he goes, maybe I can put in chakra. So, when he does, the blades are automatically on fire. But when he basically just starts, swinging it, swinging one of them, some chakra fire, basically, you can say. Or just, the fire from the blade makes a slash, and boom, it just goes forward. Which shocked Kratos and Naruto, and, well, let's say this also. He basically figured out if he puts chakra into the chain, he can actually control how the actual blade, basically the blade plus the chain goes when he throws them. So in a sense, he figured that way out, and he's actually quite surprised. Now, does he practice more with this? Yes, because he can come up with different ways of doing things. He basically can pull himself with this idea, or basically volley over things, which Kratos has told him to try to, which it went pretty easily since his reflexes are improved and such. And, well, he does go and hunt, following Kratos' instructions, and basically giving him survival lessons and tips. So in a sense, yeah, he's helping out Naruto quite a bit. More than what he should. You can say, but no. He's just helping out the way I think he would. Basically, treating him like his own son. Yeah, Kratos is treating Naruto like his own son. And, well, the QB's been impressed with Naruto. So in a sense, though, after that, let's just do a time skip, because this is getting long and I did not want to make this long. I did not want to make it over an hour. Like an hour and 10 minutes. Anyway, so time skip to where the Chunin exams. A lot of things have been happening. You know, well, basically, Civilian Council, oof. A lot of people found out about some people were actually traitors and such, even though they overcharged the QB Brat, the demon Brat. They couldn't deny that keeping funds away from the, from the Hokage, and even the Fire Daimyo coming over and making a very, very, very good point to them, to the civilians, basically council, that the Hokage is the one that makes these decisions. The council is to advise, nothing more. And the ones basically who were or the unlucky people to be killed off, basically executed, it got a point across to a lot of people that they can't mess. This is not messing around no more. Their lives are different now. It's going to be a little more stricter with the civilians, they realize. So yeah. And the daimyo did stay a bit. He basically also met Naruto. Accidentally. Naruto basically stopped something from falling on the daimyo with his, blades of chaos. Wrapping around it and pulling it to him, and he caught it. He's like, "You okay, sir?" He's like, "Ah, yes, I am." Wow, you're Uzumaki boy. Hiruzen told me about. He goes, Naruto goes like, "Gigi?" He was like, "Yes, I am his boss." He was like, "Wait." He looks up and down. He was like, "You're the Fire Daimyo, aren't you?" He goes, "Uh-huh." Which Naruto was like, I don't know what to say. I normally would say, very loudly, "It's nice to meet you," and such, and offer to show you around Konoha, and basically then take you to Ichiraku Ramen, and such. But, I don't think you would like to eat that. Which, he basically raised up an eyebrow. He was like, "Really? Well, I did not mind eating ramen. Please, take me to this Ichiraku Ramen place." Which then he sees Naruto beam up, smiling. And so, yeah, the daimyo basically liked ramen a lot that day. He gave Tucci and Inuyami a big tip. Very big tip. Which they were very surprised. Oh, basically, he also noted that Naruto seemed like Minato and Kushina mixed. So, he already knows why, but he basically had something from Minato that, he thought Naruto could use, but it's back at the fire capital. So he'll send it. And he knows the Chunin exams are coming up, and it should arrive before the second, the month where they would train before the second event. So yeah, it's not gonna be anything too special, but it's just gonna be a little bit more, how should I say, defensive wise. That's all. But anyways, so Naruto has basically they had to go buy ingredients, which he got normal prices, surprisingly. Which, I mean, he was so used to paying a lot, which they, one person was like, holy cow. I mean, I know we basically jacked up the price for him, but he's so used to it by now. Which he had to tell Naruto just this amount and that was it, which he was actually kind of like surprised and happy. So he basically, cooked his own like rabbits, fish, meats and such. And, basically eating a better diet of basically food now, besides always ramen. He did get a little bit more, he basically got a little more stronger, faster, better reflexes. And he basically went to the Higurashi shop and bought a spear. Which he was actually wondering why, he says. And then he just says it's a practice spear, basically, not a real one. Which he was like, oh, alright. So yeah, he bought like a wooden spear. Just a spear, basically wood outlined to basically being a spear. So, yeah. Naruto basically also gave a clone to try it out with the spear. And then he basically works with the Executioner Blade. That's what he's been doing. The entire Kakashi giving them. Basically, Naruto signs it. And them basically going to get into basically the Chunin exams is happening. Well, basically, Naruto meets them, basically. So he was like, hey guys. Which basically Sasuke goes like, hey Dobi. He goes, Tem. Sakura. Which, Sakura's like, basically doesn't ignore Naruto, just like, looking at Sasuke. But she decides, like, what did I ever see in her? If you guys are wondering, I mean, if you really think about it, Kratos would have basically kind of made Naruto realize Sakura would never like him, and he has to get over her. And he stopped, and he just, he became a lot more smarter with basically, basically Kratos' teaching, and Kurama's basically open it up a little bit more and actually start teaching Naruto very not well known things, basically a history of the past. So Naruto gained a good love of history, you can say, and knowledge. Not basically, he's still Naruto, he'll basically have his moments of stupidity at times, but his skill level wise, let's just say, he was probably never even a Genin. His taijutsu, at least low chunin, because he's working on a combat style where he combined, some type of, some karate moves with judo and then not taijutsu, judo and taekwondo, and along with Kratos basically taught him how to fight, from basically him as a Spartan, mixed into one, and it came a little pretty, slowly. His skill level wise with weapons, with a bow, he's basically from Genin is beginner and / novice, Chunin is medium level, and Jonin is basically proficiency / mastery with it. He's basically low Genin to, not low Genin, high Genin to mid Chunin. It depends on what he's hunting, because he became good tracker too. So, alright. Spear, with him practicing with the wooden spear, and then basically him actually, buying an actual spear and reading a lot more sealing, basically fueling jutsu, it was like water, if you really think about it. He would have at least asked Hiruzen for any, fueling jutsu books. He would have just used clones and abused it to, at least get it to level 5, to at least know how to do, like, seals on his arm, to keep his weapons on him, like, the spear. So, in a sense, yeah, level 5 seal master. Well, level 5 seal, expert, you can say. Spear-wise, he's at least high Chunin to low Jonin level. The get basically the executioner blade. Chunin, just Chunin. Low to mid Chunin. Speed, strength, agility, reflex, and intelligence. High Chunin. Yeah, Naruto's and stealth is still good. Jonin level. Thinking that, and basically he's strategic wise low Chunin, still trying to get in the concept of not rushing into battles. Um, so yeah. So technically, I don't want to end off a cliffhanger, but I really do have to go, guys, on this. So, in a sense, yeah, basically they're just about to enter the place. Enter the Chunin exams to get into the first test, and that's gonna be the Rock Lee thing. I'm just gonna make part 3, and I'm gonna try to upload it. Upload this, then upload part 3. So guys, don't worry, it's not a cliffhanger. It's not gonna be waiting forever. But yeah, I hope you guys like this part. You guys have a nice day, night, wherever you are. I'll see you guys in part 3, and who knows how long because of what I have to do. So bye.